Imagine a world where your face is your ID, and I'm not talking about a voluntary Facebook login, I'm talking about being tracked, monitored, and identified without your consent. It's a reality that's already here, and it's called facial recognition technology. We're living in a time where our faces are being used as biometric data, and it's raising some serious concerns about privacy. As I started digging into this topic, I realized just how widespread facial recognition has become. It's being used in airports, shopping malls, and even by law enforcement agencies. But what's really worrying is that it's not just about security, it's about surveillance. We're talking about a system that can track your every move, and it's all based on your unique facial features. And that's what makes it so powerful. Facial recognition can identify you in a crowd, in a matter of seconds. It's like having a super accurate, high-tech version of a bouncer at a club, but instead of checking your ID, it's checking your face. But have you ever stopped to think about what happens to all that data once it's collected? It's like when you're browsing online, and you start seeing ads for something you just looked at. It's creepy, right? But with facial recognition, it's not just about targeted ads, it's about your entire identity being stored in a database. And once the data is out there, it's hard to control who gets access to it. As I delved deeper, I found that some countries are already using facial recognition to monitor entire cities. It's like something out of a sci-fi movie. Imagine walking down the street and being tracked by a network of cameras that can identify you in real time. But what's even more alarming is that this technology is not just being used by governments, it's also being used by private companies. And that's where the lines get really blurred. When private companies start collecting biometric data, it's not just about security, it's about profit. They can sell the data to advertisers, or even to other companies that want to target you with specific products. It's like your face has become a commodity, and it's being bought and sold without your consent. But here's the thing, we're not just talking about some distant future, we're talking about right now. Facial recognition is already being used in so many aspects of our lives, from unlocking our phones to identifying criminals. And while it may seem convenient, or even necessary, we need to think about the implications. As someone who's interested in technology, I have to admit that I'm both excited and terrified by the potential of facial recognition. On one hand, it could revolutionize the way we interact with the world. Just imagine being able to pay for things, or access secure areas, just by showing your face. But on the other hand, it's a slippery slope. Once we start relying on facial recognition, it's hard to go back. So, what's the alternative? Do we just accept that our faces are going to be used as biometric data, and hope that the companies collecting that data will use it responsibly? Or do we start pushing back and demanding more control over our own privacy? It's a bit like the debate around social media. We know that our data is being collected, but we're not always sure what's being done with it. And with facial recognition, it's even more personal. We're talking about our actual identities, not just our online profiles. As I started thinking about this, I realized that it's not just about the technology itself, it's about the values we want to uphold as a society. Do we want to live in a world where our faces are constantly being tracked and our every move is being monitored? Or do we want to prioritize our privacy and our freedom to move around without being watched? And that's where the concept of surveillance capitalism comes in. It's the idea that our personal data is being used to generate profits, without our consent. It's like we're living in a world where our faces are being used as currency, and it's being traded without our knowledge. But what if we could use facial recognition in a way that's actually beneficial to society? For example, it could be used to help find missing people, or to identify suspects in criminal cases. It's like using a super powerful tool for good, but we need to make sure that we're using it responsibly. As we navigate this complex issue, we need to think about the potential consequences. What happens when facial recognition is used in conjunction with other technologies, like AI or machine learning? It's like creating a powerful cocktail that could either benefit society or harm it. And that's why it's so important to have a conversation about this. We need to think about the implications of facial recognition and how it's going to shape our world. It's not just about the technology itself, it's about the values we want to uphold as a society. So, I want to leave you with a question: what's the point at which we decide that our faces are no longer our own, but rather a commodity to be bought and sold? As I reflect on this, I realize that it's a personal question, too. How much are we willing to sacrifice our privacy for the sake of convenience or security? And that's what makes this conversation so important. We need to think about what we want, and what we're willing to accept. It's a bit like the analogy of the frog in boiling water. If we're not careful, we might find ourselves living in a world where our faces are constantly being tracked, without even realizing it. And once we're there, it's hard to go back. But I'm hopeful. I think that by having this conversation, we can start to push back against the tide of surveillance, and reclaim our privacy. It's not going to be easy, but I think it's worth it. As we move forward, we need to think about the role that facial recognition is going to play in our lives. Is it going to be a tool for good, or a tool for control? And that's why I'm excited to continue this conversation, and explore the possibilities. And I want to hear from you. What do you think about the use of facial recognition technology, and how do you think we should be using it? In the end, it's up to us to decide what kind of world we want to live in, one where our faces are our own, or one where they're a commodity to be bought and sold. If you're as curious as I am about the intersection of technology and society, and you want to stay up to date on the latest developments, I'd love for you to join me on this journey, and subscribe to my channel for more thought-provoking content.